Alrighty kiddos, today we're going to be working on these little faux leather coin purses, and even going to have a little bonus video on how to do the little wrist strap here. And you can do this pattern, you can make this pattern using your Cricut design space. Makes it super easy. I don't need to link you to any kind of thing, you just do it yourself. And so I'm going to show you how to do that step by step. Let's get started. Okay, so the first thing you're going to do is open your design space, and you're going to choose shapes. If you choose the heart like I did, then you can choose the heart, but you could really do this with any shape. So I'm going to choose that heart shape, and I'm going to make it the size that I want my little coin purse to be. And once I've done that, I'm going to go ahead and duplicate. You cannot duplicate after this next step, because then you'll have two sides with zipper holes in them. So the next thing I'm going to do is I'm going to go in and choose that square shape, and I'm going to unlock it up there so that I can make it different proportions. And I'm just going by what I want the size to be as far as length, but with the width you want to do just a ½ inch, no more, no less. That is the perfect size for those little zippers. And so I'm going to grab both of those, the heart and the thing, and highlight those, and I'm going to slice it, and you're going to see I'm getting rid of the sliced pieces here. We don't need them. We want that hole in the heart. Got everything lined up, and I'm going to make sure it's aligned vertically, horizontally, whichever way it was I did it. So now I've got it on the mat, and we're going to go to this. We're going to choose faux leather paper thin, and we're going to make sure that we hit the more in that little drop down box after you've chosen your material, because you want it to cut through twice to ensure that it cuts through. And I found that's the sweet spot for me. I don't have any issues for the most part with doing this. If you're concerned about how to prep your mat, in order to do this, if you have the Explorer Air 2 like I do, I have a video on that, and the link will be up in the top right hand of the video here. So here's what we have when we're done, and I saved that little sliced out piece so that I can use it as a loop. There are two different ways you can do this. If you don't have a crocodile like I do, you can do the loop. I'm going to do both in this video, to be honest, just because I just did them both. But you can do one or the other. You don't need both of them. But anyway, let's just do this first. So we're going to sew that zipper on all four sides, just making sure you've got it lined up really good. You want to take your time, be careful. Use a longer stitch length. I did 3.5 on my machine. My machine also has 3 speeds, and I did the medium speed just so it wasn't too slow, but it was slow enough that I could take my time. You don't want to do a lot of back stitching, but you want to do that little back stitch at the beginning and the end of once you've gone all the way around that to sew that zipper on. And make sure you use that zipper foot when you're doing this. It's just the same as if you were doing it on fabric. So there, now that we've got that zipper on there, the next step is to trim that zipper down so that it's not sticking out the edges there. Always do this after, not before you sew it on, because you're gonna run into some trouble if you do it that way. So there you go, you see the zippers on there. Now I am going to line up the back and the front pieces, and you see there that I created that loop and then I forgot to put it in there, but I do go back and open it up with the seam ripper and put that loop on there just to show that I did it. Like I said, if you use a crocodile and you make a hole in it and put a grommet or whatever that thing is called, you don't need to do that loop. So just very carefully I'm going to go around this. This requires just a tiny bit of just pulling everything taut, just taking your time and making sure that it's all lined up pretty good. And nothing's ever perfect, but this first one was a pretty darn good try. I was real proud of how easily it lined up, how easy it was to sew. Of course, the smaller they get, a little harder it gets to go around those edges and stuff, but I absolutely love this project. It's a lot of fun. If you're interested in the vinyl, the link is in the description box below. I actually got that on Amazon. And now you will see me opening it up and adding that loop, which ideally you want to do that before you sew it all the way around. But I'm just showing that it could be done. So now that I've got that done, what I want to do is show it off. And then I'm going to get my crocodile out, and I'm going to make a little hole there. And like I said, just you don't have to do both steps. You can do one or the other. If you like both, you can do both. It's all up to you. Just make it your own project. I apologize for getting out of camera range here, but sometimes it's really hard when you can't see good and you're trying to get something done and you don't want to mess it up. You end up kind of going a little out of frame. So I'm sorry, but you got the idea. I put the hole there. Now I'm just demonstrating that this crocodile is pretty self-explanatory when I can speak right. So now I've got my little doohickey on there, grommet, whatever it's called. I'm not even sure, and I'm too lazy to Google right now. So that's the finished little coin purse. So cute, super cute. Now for my key fob, I actually decided not to put any more wear and tear on my Cricut because this vinyl is pretty easy to cut with a paper slicer, and I already have it marked to the size of that little hardware piece. So you see me kind of lining it up there, and you want to just hold down that top part that covers the material really tight when you're sliding that slicer over it. And I'm going to do the same thing with the piece that I'm going to use for the inside of the key fob. And then it's just a couple of simple steps and we'll be done. So you see what I'm going to do here is I'm going to sandwich these together, and I'm going to sew a line down each side, and then I'm going to fold it and sew that top so it doesn't shift when I go to put the hardware on. And my recommendation is, if you're going to use this type of vinyl, it is really super thin. You might need a piece of I don't know, cotton batting or something in between, just because I feel like the hardware doesn't fit right, doesn't look right. I ended up with a little bit of a bend in it, a dent in it, whatever you want to call that, and I feel like if I had more padding in it, I would have come out a lot better. But I'm still on the step here where I have folded it over and I'm sewing it together. So we're going to do that, and then we're going to add the hardware, and everything will be done. And I do have a video on more detailed on how to do this key fob. If you would like to look at that, the video link will be up in the right hand corner of this video. Alrighty kiddos, I really hope you enjoyed this video, and if you did, make sure to hit that like, share, and subscribe to my channel for more great videos. Love y'all. Peace. Bye bye.